Mount Okepamo, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Bokonjre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia, yeah. From Monday to Sunday, from Monday to Sunday, it's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday. Focus on.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of Primetime Sunday on Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jar, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. In tonight's edition, we're going to be looking at the runoff elections. Should we be picking sides here, or which side should we be on? Should anybody be neutral? Should you pick a side and go with it? There are many theories as to the runoff elections, so we're going to deeper into what to expect, what's going on here. We're first going to evaluate the elections, the first round, then go into the runoff and see how we go forward from here. This is an exciting time in the history of our country. We have just had a peaceful first round elections, and we're going to round off. So I have assembled some of the best brains in our country to discuss this very important topic. First, I have Madam Deba Tozi, an educator, a scholar, and an activist. Deba, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Dennis. Glad to be here.
Thank you. And by the way, this is your first time on Focus on Liberia. We want to say welcome. Deba is an educator, a scholar, an activist, and a realtor. She's the former vice president for academic affairs at the Nimba Community College. Deba, we're so glad to have you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Let me also welcome Madam Olive White, an IT system engineer, fashion designer, and a whole lot of things. Olive, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Olive is an IT system engineer, a health information system personnel, an entrepreneur, fashion designer, a seamstress, and above all, mother of four. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let me also welcome our own Airme Cassell, joining us all the way from the end of the earth in Australia. Welcome, Aime.
Thank you, Dennis. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, Aime is part of the Liberia History Channel. If you don't know, she is a social activist, a philanthropist, a proud member, as she describes herself, of Save the State Liberia and co-founder of the Liberian Leadership Academy. Aime, by the way, I like that Save the State t-shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Last and definitely not the least, the presenter of the Liberia History Channel, Carl Famler. She is the FOL Public Policy Analyst and presenter of the Liberia History Channel. Carl, welcome to the show.
Always my pleasure to be here, Dennis.
And in case you don't know, Carl is a public policy professional, a lifelong student of African and world history, and the presenter of the Liberia History Channel, as I told you. We want to welcome Corey again. Welcome and thank you so much for, in fact, being one of those who put this panel together. We're glad to have you.
It's like I said, Dennis, it's always my pleasure, and I'm excited to hear from my co-panelists their thoughts and opinions today.
Thank you. And we are expecting Glendy Genius to join us anytime from now. She has other engagement and she can be here, but she's the host of G's Talk, and we are expecting her anytime. We want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. Uh, for Olive and Deborah, your first time on Focus on Liberia, I want to say, we present to you a cup of water to say welcome and enjoy your stay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Thank you.
The elections are over, right? For the first round, let's say, and we are heading to a second round. Let me first go around the room and just get your general feeling about the first round elections. What are some of your thoughts? What came out of you when the final elections results were announced, and how you look at it? Let me start with Miss Madame Cassel.
Oh yeah. Coming to the first round, I was too satisfied with the whole way it went. I I don't really see transparency in it. There was too much play, too much hearsay, and and there was too much delay in what we're doing. And at the end of the day, there's so much rumor going around, so much happening, and we like Librarians, we have to get to a place that whatever we're doing, we should be 100% transparent because we owe that to our people. But I didn't see much transparency in it going election. No, not really. I'm not too happy about it.
Thank you. Olive, what's your take on round one?
I would first of all like to commend the Liberian people. I believe that I saw some level of peace and tranquility in the
Exactly.
election process. And overwhelmingly I can see that the Liberian people show up, first time voters, they show up, they voted, and people had their voices heard. And I think the process, like Eome just mentioned, it was a little bit of slow, and then once you start having all these hiccups, now you have loopholes. So I think it's the loopholes that she mentioned are kind of reasonable to actually have kind of like a perspective that things did not go as transparent. But again, I want to commend the Liberian people for peace and tranquility in the election process, and that's my take on that.
Let me go to Deba or Deba. Sorry if I'm butchering your name here.
No problem, Dennis, no problem. I mean, I would just like to pick it back off my sisters and just say, a big thank you to the Liberian people. I think for the first time, we went to a somewhat peaceful election. We conducted ourselves in the peaceful manner, despite there were little pockets of violence here and there. But we just like to say thank you to the Liberian people that we were able to do this for the first time. I think after 2011, 2017, this is the first time that we have taken on this by ourselves to do it. So I would just say thank you to the Liberian people. Now, after the election or the process, we will dive into it later on. But I definitely pick it back off of my sisters and I will concur with them. But thank you so much to my Liberian people.
Thank you. But Deborah, let me push back a little bit. Are we lowering the bar here for Liberia? Like, okay, at least we had election and then it went well. There was no fighting. Are we kind of lowering the bar here? We've been having these elections for ever so long. Are we satisfied with this level?
No, no, I don't think we're lowering the bar. I don't think we're satisfied with the level. But sometimes you have to give credit to people. Okay. This is our first time that we have done it on our own. I don't think think this round of election, the UN and other partners were heavily involved, though they were there as observer, but we were the one doing it on our own. We have a lot of work to do in Liberia. We have a lot of work to do, but we also have to recognize and say thank you, and be able to encourage people and tell them to do more. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay, thank you. Let me turn to Call now for your take on the first round. Call.
Yeah, I think that there were some incidents of really unfortunate, uh, almost incompetence, exhibitions of incompetence on behalf of the government. While I do agree with everyone else that it's good to commend the citizens for being peaceful, I'm going to be very truthful here. I was extremely disappointed at the level of incompetence. The first thing is, in violation of our laws, they released the sample ballots, way too late. So the issues with voter education were problematic. We had a tremendously high amount of invalid votes. I attribute that directly to the delay in releasing the sample ballots, and therefore preventing the type of voter education that went on. It's one thing to say, yeah, great job, you went out there, you didn't beat each other up. There's no reason for us to have beaten each other up. People went to go vote, and they did so. And there were political rallies that ended in murder on social media, broad daylight, videotape, and not one person has been prosecuted. We had someone murdered live on social media in Lofa, live on social media in Black Gina on I still call it Somalia Drive. And nobody seems to have been arrested, prosecuted. We've not heard law enforcement say that they're going to do anything about it. This is terrible. So yeah, most of the people in the country did go peacefully. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this was not terrible, terribly managed. The government failed to protect people, allowed broad daylight murders to go on. We all witnessed it, and we're still sitting here in shock, wondering, is there going to be justice? Um, that's where I'm going to pause. But I, for one, Dennis, I don't see that this first round election is a good what
Image.
occurred, the incompetence, and the illegal acts on the part of the National Elections Commission. EFF, Emmanuel Gonkwa, them had to come out and threaten the National Elections Commission to follow the laws of our country. I mean, this is absurd. And we all sitting down here because they didn't burn down the foreign ministry and George Weah's house. We're gonna clap for the people. What is this? I would say that the bar is extremely low, Dennis.
Well,
Yeah.
Call, are we trying to make the distinction here between uh, incompetence and not having the resources, the money, or being challenged? Let's try to make that distinction here.
When this woman was asked if she had enough resources to conduct the election, she answered affirmatively. She said, yes, I do. So resources cannot be an issue after you were asked in the Senate by the people who control financing in the country. If you had enough money and resources to conduct the election, and she said yes. So this is not a matter of resources, it's incompetence. And if it is resources, she was not competent enough to know what she needed. Because she told, it's on record for the rest of history. We're going to read that this woman told Senator Dillon that she had enough money to conduct the elections.
Olive, how you see that?
I want to speak on the incompetency issues and the fight that voter education was not as adequate as 2023. We are talking about an era where we have TikTokers now. And the TikTokers and then political parties will also put that on that voter education was not priority. And I saw many times on social media, going back now, that the energy that was to be placed into voter education was placed on personal attacks and different things that we see now. So having this tremendous amount of invalid votes, which we know it is something that is all around the world, but it's alarming. It is alarming, and that speaks to the incompetency of the election commissioners and also the political parties. So I will actually shift the blame on with that on everyone. And when Cole mentioned that the lady had mentioned that she was okay or she had sufficient funds to run the elections, and now we found out like this is the case, then we come back to the competency as well. So I'm gonna spread this over. It's gonna start from the top, the election commission, and then commissioner and her team, and also the political parties. We can't leave them out of this.
No.
So if you have your party, and I think one of the rallies or some of the rallies should have been focused on that instead of focus on numbers. Because now you see what happened to the numbers, right? They are invalid.
Thank you. Let me welcome Glendy Jean Jr. She is the host of G's Talk. Glendy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry I'm late. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Candy.
Hello.
I can see
Well,
save the status. Fully represented here tonight.
Yes, we are.
So, Glendy, let me start with you. On your impression of the first round. To you, generally, how did the first round elections go? And you heard Olive and Carl speak of the incompetence, what they see as the incompetence of NEC. What's your take?
I don't think I'm going to say anything different. I think about a week or two ago, I actually asked people to describe NEC. And the only word I could come up with was incompetence. And that's just it. I don't think we can reach in 2023 and then sugarcoat what they've done. They've handled everything poorly. They didn't do a lot of check and balances. I mean, how is it that you're not ensuring that all of the ballot boxes will arrive in the different precincts at the same time? Some people have to wait 24 hours. I think it's and it's kind of, if we know better, we should do better.
Exactly.
And these are people heading this election commission who also have not only been in Liberia, they've been privy to go to other countries and they see how it's done there. So why would I come and say anything differently? That it was a poor job. It's just that.
So that brings me to the question about the whether the elections itself, whether the elections were free, fair, and let me add transparent. Let me start with Deba. If we say some are saying now, yeah, were they fair, free and fair?
I would say it was not based on the outcome of this election. I mean, when you look at the numbers, first of all, like the ladies have said, the incompetency, the ballot box. I saw a video that people had to hold boxes on their head and walk in waters to go, to polling station, and then after everything else, as we get the results, what was alarming to me was that we could get the results from Grand Cru, but we couldn't get the results in District 8. And it was like, okay, how do you get a result from Grand Cru with network problems, but you cannot get the result from District 8? The Cummings factor, the Appleton factor. I mean, we can go on and on and on. I don't think it was a free and fair election. I think that we need to call for a recount, maybe not to stop the process, but a recount to really understand what happened, what went wrong, where were the gaps, so we can understand and do better 2029.
So actually, what happened? Because you said the Cummings factor, the Appleton factor, or they announced Grand Cru before District 8. What in those tells you that it was not free and fair? Maybe they were late. Maybe things were slow.
There was some. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, you could tell there was something going on. The
Like
results, how the results came in. Like I said, results from Grand Cru coming in before a result from Moserado, where the election commission was placed. How do we get that? How do you account for ballot boxes being missing? How do you account for ballot boxes being damaged? That means you have not done your due diligence.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm talking about. The Cummings factor. I mean, Mr. Cummings did well in Liberia. He has done well. He has been on the scene. What happened to his vote? Appleton. Who is this Appleton that came up? Where did he come from? How did he campaign? How do we account for his numbers? He's number 3. You know, come on, Liberia. We need to do more. We need to hold the election commission reliable to be able to explain these things to us and just push it under the rug and say, okay, let's rush to the runoff. What if that happens again during the runoff? We need to do some check and balance here.
Glendy, what you say? Were the elections free, fair, and transparent? And if you say they were not, what's the evidence?
So when you're looking at free and fair, are we considering elections day? Or are we talking about the entire process?
Election day.
So I
Well,
would say
they say elections are even rigged before. So if you know anything prior to that day, please let us know.
so. I think I can speak to the fact from what we heard that it was free. I think for the most part, people were able to go. Maybe a little skirmishes here and there, but for the overall, it was free. As far as the fair part, you know, one thing about Liberian people, there are 2 things about us: we're impulsive, and when we carry gossip, there's something about it. So there's just too many stories that we've heard about the elections commission. Of course, we can't forget I like to refer to it as the AI factor. We can't forget the AI factor in these elections. We can also, how is it that Mr. Cummings has been campaigning for almost 6 years, and in a district he wins 0? He had 0. But then you have other people who he campaigned for, who is from his camp, getting more votes. I think there's just so many things that has happened. Also, to the fact that UP also had to take the elections commission to court because they wouldn't produce the list. So all of those things that we're seeing and we're hearing about, there should be if it's free and fair, and if the elections commission was sure about what they were doing, those things we wouldn't be hearing the story. Number one, there was no control on the information gathering or the information sharing. It's almost like you no direct person, like who can we go to say what the story is or who's going to come to us. There's also a story about some of the parties did not get to see the ballot paper. How is that possible? How did they not see it?
What you
So
mean,
it's like
ballot paper? What is that? The sample ballot or
the sample ballot. I heard that some of the parties did not get to see the sample ballot because some of them refused to go to a meeting that in the NEC called.
Right.
And so when they did that, some of them were late in seeing it. So some people didn't see it. I mean, there's just too many things for us. I cannot say for a matter of surety that it was fair. I think for the most part it was free.
right? Call, is it a matter of suspicion or do we have any evidence? Because so far the political parties have not disagreed with the election using the tally sheets or what they gathered from the war room. So is this the matter of we suspect that something went on, or we have any hard facts that the election indeed were not free and fair?
So I'm not like an investigative journalist or anything like that. But what I do know is that NET violated the law. The law requires that they release the sample ballots ahead of time. That in and of itself, in any normal society that follows legal process, would be enough cause to postpone an election. Mm-hmm. But as with everything else in Liberia, you can blatantly violate the law and just everything continue. That violation is part of the process to, even if you're not intending to commit fraud, it's part of the process of committing voter suppression. According to UNDP, statistics on invalid votes. Most of the time in Africa, which has a higher margin of invalid votes, especially, West Africa. I don't know why we are always the bottom of the totem pole, but even in West Africa, the percentage is about 2.5%. We had over 6% invalid votes in this election. In the 2017 election, it was slightly below 2% invalid votes. So if you can invalidate over 100,000 citizens' votes,
Yes.
and you can directly link that to the fact that they violated the law and didn't release the sample ballots, that's enough cause to invalidate the election under a country that functions within the law, that follows their own laws. But Liberia doesn't follow its laws under this WIA administration. We exist in a system of absolute disregard to our own legal processes. And without laws and legal processes, there's anarchy, there's no government. So we have a situation where, people, oh, yeah, y'all just leave that to, the people, it's not a small thing. It had a direct consequence, a measurable consequence. There's not 100,000 votes between WIA and Boakai. I forgot the number, but it's a small margin of votes. But if you're invalidating 100,000 votes, what you have done is denied suffrage to 100,000 citizens. That's not the citizens' fault. The government is responsible to create a system where citizens can exercise their constitutional right to vote in a way that they understand, in a way that has a very low margin of error. And if the government fails to do that, the government has failed to administer elections legally. Because that part is not a matter of opinion and speculation. What I'm saying is factual.
Right. But Carl, who does that benefit? If 100,000 votes were invalidated, does that benefit any political party? Or how is that a deliberate attempt to...
If you invalidate 100,000 votes, it undermines the democratic process.
I agree.
Period.
Does it benefit anyone?
And the only way we would know who it benefits is if we knew who those people attempted to vote for. We should call on a committee to review those invalid votes. Produce the invalid votes. Let us see them. But the country just sitting there. Nobody's saying, let's see these invalid votes. They need another set of eyes. And what I would say, Dennis, one of the problems that we have in Liberia is this obsession with waiting for the international community to do things for us. It is not their duty to secure our democracy, our democratic processes. This is your civic responsibility as a citizen of Liberia to protect your constitutional rights, even if it means you need to protect them from your own government. The fact that Liberians are sitting there knowing that there's over 100,000 invalid votes and they're not demanding that those records be made public for examination before we decide who the president is a problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me go to Olive. Olive, where the elections are round one, free and fair?
I'm gonna go with free and the fairness. I'm gonna go back to the scare tactics and the violence that actually prepare the atmosphere for the fairness that we're talking about. So if you have, for instance, political parties fighting and intimidating each other, then you actually have put actually cast an atmosphere of unfairness in the election. So with that said, I said peaceful for the election day or the days leading after the election, but going towards the election, the fear tactics and the attacks on people and lives that were lost, for example, in Lofa County, and then attacks that went on in Monrovia. Those are things that actually will cause irregularities in the election process, because now you are going to make people afraid to either go vote. And the reason why I commended the Liberian people was that they were not deterred by those things that were preceding the election process. They still went out and voted. Now, free, yes, free to an extent that they were able to go and vote who they wanted to. Fair, I don't know about fairness, and I'm gonna because in my background I do like investigative reports. So without any reports, tangible information, I cannot sit here and say it wasn't fair because I just don't have that background. And what Cole said, if we have accountability, and accountability issue is one of the reasons why it is easy to say it was not fair, because now we have all these numbers of invalid votes, and Deba said the same thing. We need to know what happened. So going into the runoffs, so this is like we need root cause analysis, and then we will know going forward what is the issue, where do we need to tackle with the second round. So it is really tricky situation, tricky, it's a trick question for me when it comes to fair. Free, I can see that the Liberian people were resilient. They went out and voted anyway, even though there were violence, patches of violence around. They still went out. Fair. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about fair because I don't have the tangible information to say that. But if I'm just saying out of my own hair, I would say I don't. I really didn't see where the atmosphere foster any fairness.
And Olive, let's look at the political parties as the stakeholders. There's this thing in Liberia when you go to court, they say you don't have standing. So you now, if you say it's not fair, you can challenge the result in court. The political parties, have they failed the people? If they believe that, if they are thinking like you that things were not fair, but nobody has been able to challenge the results. They
Yeah.
told us they had tally sheet that was saying something to the contrary. After the results were announced, everyone went dead silence.
Yeah, so that is the inability of political parties to do their due diligence. So we see that now, like as I mentioned earlier, everyone was focused on getting numbers and who's going to produce the most numbers and who's going to be able to buy numbers and things like that, and focus on education and what to do, and the manpower, and the human capital, as in poll watchers. Like for example, what we're hearing now, that there were no poll watchers in the southeast areas and some other areas. So these things were not, mechanisms were not put into place. So now it makes it difficult for anyone to come up with a cause argument to challenge anything. So if you didn't have anyone monitoring the board, it could be like 5 million votes from one precinct. How do you know there were nobody there to monitor that? So this is what the irregularities, suspicions of irregularities are coming from, because the due diligence leading towards the election from the candidates or the political parties, it was missing. It was really missing. I think it was lost. It was lost. So we, as the Liberian people, I feel, yes, the political party, to your question, the political parties feel the Liberian people, because there were people, old people that would sit down in wheelchairs, and pregnant women, children, first time, like children, like first time voters were out there, and they expected their votes to be counted. And now here we are. So I think everyone, the Liberian political system, as an election process, feel the Liberian people. To your question,
Exactly.
yes.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Madam Cassell, somebody told me, say, we Liberian, we always in a rush to turn the page, even if we have not read the page we on, right? Now we're going to runoff. The first round elections, were they free, fair, and transparent? And
Um,
can we, or is it everybody just want to go to second round? Whether, in fact, Councillor Tiawan said Gonglo was the first to concede and say we accept the result. Let's move on, right? So is it where are we coming from now to say, well, there's maybe it's not fair, or there's cheating, or there's fraud somewhere? If the people taking part in the election feel it's okay, are we trying to weep louder than the bereaved?
Um, the, the people taking part in the election are not Liberia. We all are Liberians, and we are Liberia. If they don't see anything wrong with it, we do see something wrong with it, and
How?
it's
Which eye are
our.
you using? They were
Yeah,
there. Their candidacy is at stake, and they saw nothing. And you see what?
I'm a Liberian. And I want Liberia to run properly. I want Liberia to be the nation that we see out there, and even better than other nations. So it's our right to speak on what we see not right. It's our right to speak on incompetency. In the first place, everything that happened with the election commissioner saying that she had enough funds, or with the election commissioner, with them not announcing the Maserati votes, taking time to announce the Maserati votes, with them not giving the sample ballots. There are too much discrepancy. Even to just common sense, nothing runs, nothing runs properly with all these dark spots on it. Why are there dark spots? I believe, in my opinion, that whatever you do in life, once you got dark spots, there must be a motive, there must be a reason. Why don't we see the invalid votes? How many exactly invalid votes did they have?
Nobody asked them. Maybe.
But we don't even have to ask them for them to do their jobs. Their
Okay,
job is to be transparent.
that's
That's
fair.
why we are a democratic nation.
Mhm.
That's why we are a democratic nation. So what are we going to do about? We're all running to second round. Nobody even. You are right. They're not talking about it. Nobody even on the fact that we did not see your appetite until we saw number three. I mean, even Steve Warner can see that. But maybe we used to putting things on the rock so we just forget everything. We don't solve the problem. We'll sweep it under the rock and go to second round, and then we'll murmur for the next 6 years or whatever it's going to be. Why do we just accept everything? And we say we want a better Liberia. In fact, we didn't even, most political parties did not even concentrate on the voters before the election. They were concentrating on each other. I mean, it was like the Liberians didn't even vote, and I really do applaud the Liberians because despite everything, they showed up. Even if they didn't know what box to mark or what box not to mark, they showed up. That's how much they want their country to come back to itself. That's how much they want to believe in the process.
Yeah.
As you said, Olive, the process failed.
Hmm.
The process failed, and it's sad to watch that because people are in place to do better. And then I ask myself, is it delivery? You got ballot boxes walking in the mud or walking in some river, some water somewhere. Okay, suppose the whole ballot box drop.
Right. And when I showed that to someone, they said those were old pictures. So I don't know if those video footages were this election or another election.
I hope it's not this election then. I hope
So
it's not this
I don't
election.
know.
So let's just say,
Actually, it was this
as we like
election
we're sitting
that
down here, someone's talking. We know that there are discrepancies in everything that happened. You talk about a free and fair election. Fair, I don't know about that. Peaceful election. Let's talk about the people that lost their life. Whether it was one or two persons, was it peaceful for them?
Right.
One librarian is every librarian,
And nobody talked about it.
and nobody talking about it. It was
Oh,
it peaceful for them? Whether that one person was it peaceful for that person when it's supposed to be peaceful for every Liberian? Come on now. And we're
thank
just
you.
talking, we're not jump over appetite already.
Right. Abby Tyler raised a very important point here, and I saw an example. He said it is expensive to challenge election results. Can these parties afford the many lawyers and resources that are required to do so? One guy from California, I think Kemu, he wants to challenge, but he needs like $10,000 to start, and this is an individual. So Abby, I agree with I see where you're coming from. But Glendy, you be the last on this one. We saw that, for example, Mr. Alexander Cummings, the CPP had a press release that said there were areas where we voted and we still have zero. Yet, Mr. Cummings or the CPP has not been able to produce a tally sheet. and say, well, from in this area, this is where I voted. How difficult is it to challenge that? Right. So far we've seen no challenge for anyone.
And just to go back to Cole and what Cole said, I don't know why. I don't know if they understand and they know that there were some fraudulent acts. Why wouldn't they come out? The only thing you can conclude is they probably don't have the tally sheets. Because I can bet you that if Unity Party people, as much as robust as they seem, if it was something of that sort where they knew that they were cheated significantly, I would hope that they would produce their tally sheets.
So
And I
because
don't
of that,
understand.
can we assume that it was the neck is right? It was fair, right? Can we
Well,
assume?
neck and say all neck wants to say because they have to promote and protect their integrity. But this is the thing: if you have over 100,000 votes invalid, what are some of the evidences? What are some of the things that we can see to say, wow, did they become invalid? So this is just neck that's telling us, and we're just taking that.
Yeah.
Now, I heard someone saying everybody someone said to me today, Joe Burger should have been the one to ask about the fraudulent areas that they heard had happened. Why did it have to be him?
Exactly.
Why did it have to be? Why didn't it could have been any one of those politicians running in the elections? It could have been Sarah Besco. It could have been somebody else. It could have been anyone. That didn't have to come from UP or from Cummings. It could have, they're all clothed with the responsibility to ensuring that the votes were protected. So how is it that this is not a concern with them? Why are we just only concerned about the fact that, oh, I'm in the runoff, so I'm okay? And even the government of Liberia, I mean, even with them,
So I can I come in there?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The question that the gentleman asked, I was gonna answer that somewhat in relations to what my sister just said. So now he said that I don't know if I'm quoting you right, that there was kind of a $10,000 or something needed to challenge the result. Is that what he said?
Yes.
Yes. So you see now, this is the problem. So if you are, if you were an opposition or whether the government, I think this is when I'm gonna remove the government from there now at this point. Opposition, that there's 10,000 needed. So how can you rally and bring this 10,000 together, and kind of rally this fund and help this gentleman? Because now it becomes everybody issue, right? So
Yes.
that's my problem. That's my fundamental problem with this process when it comes to unity in purpose. Because when there's no unity in purpose, that's why we're having these pockets of dissatisfaction, and somebody is saying this, the other person is saying that, the other person is saying that, because we've all lost the purpose. I think the parties or the political parties have lost the purpose in which they actually sign up for. As therefore, it's all about them. Who's going to pay the money? Who's going to do that? I think now is the time. From I'm answering the gentleman question. This is the time that the political parties to rally together and do that challenge together. So now they're doing it separately. So that's why it's going nowhere. So I'm confused. I don't really I've personally I've kind of retired like a couple of years back from politics. So I
You look very
I
fresh in
don't want
politics.
to go back. I don't want to go back in there, but I can see from a seasoned politician, not politician, but a seasoned individual who have ran successful campaigns. I can say that that this unity it speaks volume than what is going on. So
Exactly.
that's what I see here. Because at
Mhm.
this point, this gentleman shouldn't be asking that question. He should be able to call everybody else that were in part of this election and say, listen, I need this, I need this, I need that. I'm going to take on the responsibility to challenge this result. And everybody should rally around him. But it's not, it probably will not happen because everybody was in it for themselves.
Exactly.
not
Uh,
for the Liberian people. I see that the Liberian people have been given the shorter hand of this ball, that the Liberian people have been robbed. If there was any robbery that took place, it's the Liberian people, their votes, because the
Yeah.
political parties are not stepping up. And I will just be vocal and say that, although I'm saying that I want to reserve these kind of comments and stuff like that, but I'm speaking for the Liberian people. When it comes to the Liberian people, I get passionate about that because
Yes.
I know what it is to be a Liberian, and I know what we have, the treasure we have, which is Liberia. And when people are playing around with that, it kind of it's hurtful. It's hurtful to see that the Liberian people are treated this way.
Thank you. And NEC, if you are listening, at least I too really want to see what
And
an invalid
Dennis,
vote looks
can I
like.
just chime in?
Yeah, yes. One second. I'm saying to
Dennis,
the
can I just
NEC,
chime in from what? Mhm.
yeah, go ahead. Deborah, can you
No,
hear
I
me? Go
said I would
ahead.
like to chime in. Yes, not just well, since if the political parties won't do anything, I think it's up to Liberians. You know, we need to rise up and be able to say, okay, it takes $10,000. Well, we could come up today on this platform and even raise $10,000 to challenge, the election commission and challenge those invalid votes and be able to get some results and some answers. I think sometimes we tend to shift blame. Okay, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Sometimes, like the gentleman said, it's $10,000. $10,000 maybe in Liberia it sounds like a lot of money, but $10,000 is not a lot of money. So if we are really serious about it, if we are really serious about getting results, getting answers, let's take the government to task. Let's take the election commission to task and raise that $10,000 and say, here it is, your $10,000. Now do what you say you're going to do. This is what we want you to do for the people of Liberia.
Thank
Good
you.
one. It's a good one.
And to your point, Clarence, Dr. Clarence Pearson said the invalid voters paper is available on asking, like you are saying, if they have problem
Exactly.
with the count, they come forward. He also said we should understand that the NEC data center did have political party representation during the tabulation of the data at NEC, apart from parties observers in the field. So all these people are there and we are hearing nothing. Maybe
So,
they are satisfied. Maybe we
so Dennis, sorry,
I'm asking the NEG, at least I want to know what constitute this invalid vote. So
Yeah.
if they can put some samples
so
out there, really that will help to tell
To
us
make it
how to
transparent.
prepare next time, especially with runoff coming next, you know, in less than 10 days. We need to
Week
have,
and a
I want
half.
us to move
So
on to
Dennis,
our next
I
point.
wanted to say something. You read Abby's comment, and I responded to Abby, but you didn't read my response. Very important. Um, we have suggested two things. One, I don't think it costs the citizens $10,000 to challenge an election. I don't know where that figure is coming from. There's many ways to challenge election results or to call for audits of election or individual polling stations. You can call for an audit of individual polling stations. You can call for NEC to say, hey, we want to review not only the tally sheets, but the ballots that you use to formulate the tally sheets. Just because someone is present as a representative somewhere doesn't mean the person is competent. It doesn't mean the person is honest. Just putting somebody there, oh, we get our party representative, doesn't mean the person knows what to do, how to do it, or if the person has the courage to speak up when they see something wrong. The Liberian Senate is held with the responsibility. They have the power to someone's neck and say, listen, we want to audit these 6 polling stations from around the country, bring in all of the data, bring in all of the ballot boxes, and come to the Senate office on this day. They confirm these people. They have a right to summons them for Senate hearings. Dillon can do this, Numbley can do this anytime. Any senator can challenge them to come in and bring the data. And they can do a random audit right in the Liberian Senate and look at what they have and see if there's discrepancies. And if they do this with just one polling station from each county, and they find just randomly, and they find discrepancies, that is enough reason to call for a full-on challenge. But nobody's even doing that. It doesn't cost them thousands of dollars to do this. They're already being paid to do this. This is why they were elected. This is already their responsibility. They're hearing all this noise. They themselves are making noise. Polling station where you see Appleton got a ridiculous amount of votes, let them bring all the ballots in. Let's see where the people voted for Appleton.
Exactly.
Polling station where Musa Bilita won by landslide, but Cummings got no votes. Call the ballot box, the papers in. Let's see. The people voted for Musa, they turned around and voted for Boycott. Why? It's not impossible, but let's see. Polling places in Sino where Joseph Boycott got 0 votes. Bring the ballot papers, let's see.
If we say
It's not that difficult. Senator Lawrence, Senator Lawrence, Senator Darius DeLon, y'all please call them in for a hearing. And let it be public. Let the journalists come and film this. We're talking about raising money to do something. We're paying the legislature more than we're giving to our whole education sector. Let them do their work.
Yeah, so Carl, my question is why are they not doing it, right? Instead, what they are focusing on, people are attacking, hey, Southeast, you vote for this person, you vote. So why are they not auditing the results now?
They might not know they can do that. They might not know. And this is the thing, the citizens are responsible. The people we elect and empower into the Senate and the House of Representatives are supposed to do what we ask them to do. So maybe no citizens have gone to them and said, do this. And this is my open appeal. Dylan, you know where we come from. You know how far back we go. You are a founding member of Save the State. I'm asking you to lead the Senate on this issue. You understand? This is what we're supposed to be doing as citizens. Citizens are not powerless. We employ our representatives to do these things for us. Our senators.
Thank you. I'm saying DeLon may go to the U.S. Embassy instead.
Please, please, Dennis.
Stop mocking my senator.
It's like
my senator shall not be mocked.
But that's what they did before, right? They went to the U.S. Embassy to complain about something that they could have done as senators. But that leads us to the runoff, right? The runoff is coming. I don't know if any of you have a side here, or will you be picking sides here? There are a lot of things that are out there concerning the runoff. What should we do? Should we pick sides and support them? I'll give you 2 views that I've read on Facebook, and I'll put them on the screen to show what people are saying concerning the runoff. I have 2 persons. One said, "Weah is evil and Oman Bwaka is evil, so choose your evil if you like. This election is fraud." Another said, "In the second round, there is no bad guy or good guy. Just choose your side and support it." Let's talk about sides here, Carl.
Wow.
Let me start with Glendy. Glendy probably finished choosing your side. So Glendy, let's come with picking sides. You agree with any of those assertions, or what's your take? Should we be picking sides here? And what's your side?
So I agree that we should pick sides. And there were 3 questions that propelled me to pick a side. And the first question was, as vocal as I am, is it possible for me to be quiet and not talk for anyone and not even talk for Liberia? The second question was, do I support another 6 years of President Weah? And the third question was, do I support Ambassador Boycott? And all of those 3 questions were connected to a backdrop of all of the things that we've seen happen in Liberia, the hardship, the deaths, the different abuses on children. And then I would say my conclusion was, I do not want a second term for Weah. So the caveat out there, the things that people are saying out there, that all 2 of them, they're the same, there's no lesser of the 2 evils. That wasn't what led me to my decision. The primary reason as to why I decided to speak for Ambassador Boycott is that I do not want to see a George Weah second term. And so for me, as a Liberian, I feel how far we've come and where we've reached. It's important that we pick a side. and say what we want to say and speak our mind. And that's what I'm doing.
Excellent.
Thank you. So some are saying, say, well, this is just the I put two views on the board. So is it good versus evil? Is it a case of two wrongs? Why? I mean, let's look at it. And you saw the two views put forward by two of our friends here in the United States. One say two of them evil, leave them alone. One say, it's not about good or bad. Oh, what do you say?
I mean, so I don't understand how anyone that's rational and sincere can make a comparison between these two people. I would have liked to see many other Liberians run for president. I have been very vocal about the playing field not being level and the behavior of the opposition. However, I would much rather be in a position to criticize Joseph Boykai as a president than the situation we're in right now with George Weah. It is so extreme. It is so extreme. You have a situation where our president is telling the citizens to take law enforcement into their own hands. You're on your own, you're too busy to join. Drugs are flowing into the country. People are getting to the highest rate of drug use in Liberian history per capita. Young people are literally getting strung out. All kinds of new dope on the streets. Not one day have we heard the president come out and say, hey, don't take drugs, young people. You're our future. Not a single positive message to encourage young people, even if you don't have the resources to stop the drugs. You're not even telling the children not to do drugs. For God's sakes, you're a celebrity also as a president. Get a say no to drugs campaign. You can sing song about yourself, but you can't write song to tell the children not to take drugs.
Exactly.
We're sitting down here comparing a president that openly conducts himself in a manner that womanizing, setting all kinds of horrible examples for the citizens. Look at Monrovia. Look at the city. Look at the types of incompetent, irresponsible people this man has elevated to positions of authority in the country. And we're sitting down here comparing this person to a person who has served the country for 12 years that were not perfect, but for God's sakes, they were responsible more than this. There's no comparison. This is why those people walk out there in the mud and the rain, not because Joseph Boykai is this Lord and Savior of Liberia, but because they know that Joseph Boykai will do a better job, that he will stop the bleeding. You sitting down here, people suffering, and we weighing stuff, or because we bitter, our feelings hurt, because so the Liberian people rejected our candidate, so let us suffer. That's what they're saying. And they're not sincere. They know damn well, excuse my language, that there's no comparison between these two people.
Thank you. Let me go to Deba right here. Deba, and the same question, picking size. I show you the two views. Have you picked size already? Have you picked your side already?
For me.
Go ahead, Deba.
Oh, okay. I thought Cole was going to answer.
Oh,
Cole,
you
want to
asking me
answer that
if
before
I've chosen
I
sides?
speak?
If I've chosen sides, listen. George Weah will forever be my soccer hero. I grew up with this whole thing with George Weah, but I don't think George Weah is a good president. Period. Please vote for Joseph Boykai.
Deba, first of all, Deba, what do you make of these two views? And what is yours?
For me, and I want to be transparent here. Yes, I have a side in this election. But when you look at Liberia from 2018 to present time, I think as a Liberian, I don't think you should sit on the side or sit on the fence and try to ask these philosophical questions. Should we take a side between good and evil? If you have visited Liberia, if you have been on social media, I don't think that would be your question. Should you pick a side? Because Liberia is bleeding daily. Right now, under this current president, if we give him 6 more years, we will be back, way back to 2002, 2003, to the wartime. Liberia has gone backwards tremendously. So yes, we should pick side. You could say two of the lesser evil, whatever, but don't sit on the sideline. For the 18 others that participated in this election, the message is the same. You participated to remove George Weah because you felt Liberia deserved better. So because you did not win, or because you're not going to the second round, I think this is the time to come and join the rescue team. Let us remove George Weah. Let us work as a team. Nobody could sit here and say under Ambassador Boakai, Liberia will be 100%. No, that would be a fallacy. But yes, under Ambassador Jose Yuma Boakai, Liberia will start the process of healing, start the process of getting back on track. So yes, I do have a side on this election, and I made my side known that yes, as a Unity Party partisan, as a Liberian, I want to see George Weah as a one-term president, and I am in the game to make sure that he's a one-term president. And I encourage the 18 others and their supporters to join us and join the rescue team and let us rescue Liberia from this nightmare. Thank you.
Yeah, and I understand where you're coming from. That Weah is being bad. He did this, and Carl expressed the same sentiment. But the Liberians, the voters in Liberia, did not buy that story because that was the story that was presented to them during the elections. Of that, he won more than Wakai. So they don't agree with you.
As a sitting president, I mean the numbers between Boakai and Ambassador.
Stop calling the man
Weah,
ambassador. Listen, I'm sorry, Dennis. David, I love you. Joseph Boakai is not an ambassador. That's a demotion in terminology. Joseph Boakai was a vice president. Ambassadors
correct.
are not vice presidents. The man is not an ambassador. I don't know where that title came from. He's never served in the foreign service.
Cole,
He's not an
let's
ambassador.
save the civil lesson for another time. Let's
No,
move
but
on. But
y'all stop demoting the man's status.
Right. So yeah, I have two
but
people calling
like the
ambassador. I don't
Liberians
know
that
from
call
where.
George
They say
Weah Dr.
YMCA or
Dr. Weah. But
somewhere.
let us focus on the issue right now. Yeah,
Right. The issue here is the
yeah.
Liberian people didn't
So
buy
as we
the
look at
argument
the
that you
numbers,
just
we
made.
already said. I think from the numbers, Ambassador Vice President
Sorry.
Jose Yuman Boakai. I mean, he calls himself ambassador, so I'm not gonna say
I don't think he
and try to
does.
let Cole throw me off or what have you.
I
But
don't think he does.
the Liberian people came out. And like we said earlier about this whole election process, that there needs to be, investigation. So the numbers are there. It wasn't, I mean, 43.8 and 43.4. It's not a great difference. So we can't say, oh, the Liberian people did not buy the argument. The
No,
argument still
more
stands.
Liberians
And
did not.
I want to make sure that the other 18 political parties understand that the argument still stands. They got in this election to remove George Manan Weah, and it still stands. So they need to come on board and let us complete the job. Let us complete the task. Let us do the Liberian people work. On November 7th, let them come out and do the Liberian people work. Don't sit on the sideline.
Thank you. Olive? We have a side here. And by the way, as I said, the argument against Josh Weah and everything that he did wrong, according to the other candidates, the citizens didn't buy that. More of them voted for Josh Weah than the second person. We also see that, and I try to put this in the text below, that the CDC won 25 of the 73 representative seats, UP won 10, Independent 18, CPP won 6, and MDR won 4, and it let's go down. So this tells me that more people, are voting for the CDC compared to the other parties. Go ahead, Olive. What's your side and why?
My side is the Liberian people.
Oh, I
That's
thought you
that.
said you resigned from politics because that's very political.
My side is the Liberian people. The reason, the reason why I said my side is the Liberian people is, do the Liberian people want change? Because you're putting these numbers on the board.
They are not my
And
numbers.
no. I'm saying they're not
Mhm.
your numbers. I can tell they're not your numbers.
Okay.
Uh, they're that of George and Boakas. So, um, do the Liberian people want change?
You
Do the
said no.
Liberian people? So you see that is the stand that I'm taking in these elections. Like, um, you and myself, we live here in the greatest country in the world, and we know that if a president is incompetent, we can kick him out. We did that to Trump. We can kick him out. So that is something that the American people can do, and other people around the world can do. Now, when it comes to, I'm not personally voting in Liberia, but just looking, and the question that I ask myself and I ask here is, do they really want change? Because me wanting change for my people in Liberia is different from the Liberian people wanting change for themselves. What was your life like, or what has your life been for the past 6 years, and what do you perceive it to be for the coming 6 years? Where do you what are your goals? What are your aspirations? I'm speaking to the issues, and I will continue to speak on the issues so that those who have ears can listen to that. And the reason I'm not going to say I'm picking A or I'm picking B is because when you Liberian people, we're in 2023, where everybody here has mobile phones, they have digital services, and people know where the livelihoods are in Liberia. You can these are questions that people ask on the dinner table, or we ask in the marketplaces. Do you want change? So I, I can tell you who to vote for, but if you do not perceive that your life needs to advance, that's going to be a water wasting on dog's back, like the numbers that you're putting up here. So you're saying, and I understand your argument, like, well, we said these things, like, drugs and incompetency, and in accountabilities, poverty, and all these different things that we're naming here. Now, if that doesn't resonate with the Liberian people, I can only lay that out to my people and ask them the question, and I will continue to ask them the question. What is your life like now? What do you want it in the next 6 years? What has it been? So if you know within yourself that you want to change, you will go to the elections, you'll go to the poll and vote for change. And if you don't see anything that needs to be changed, then you will vote for your government to remain the same. And that's the change campaign that we ran here. And I was part of those campaigners that elected the first Black president in the USA. We ran a successful change campaign, and the people bought that because we know they need a change. The people need a change. We could preach the change message, but if the people did not understand, they did not perceive it, it did not resonate with them, and they did not know that there was any change needed, it couldn't have happened. Because and when you get in the booth to vote, it is you and the ballot box. So I have to have that conviction that I need change. And that conviction, if the Liberian people don't have it, nobody can install it in them. You would talk to them and they will go vote the opposite. So I want my Liberian people to ask themselves, let's vote. When you go to vote, vote on the issues. Don't vote on tribalism. The tribalism thing
And that's the next subject we're coming to. Our
okay,
tribalism.
okay. I will not jump that. So when you go to if you know within yourself that change is what you need, then you will vote for change. So I want the message to resonate. And I want people to know what is at stake. So if you don't know what is at stake, we can have these panels and we can do all these rallies and everything. And the Liberian people will still not want change, or they will still want change. So
So
it
Olive,
is yes.
Olive, quickly answer this question for me if you don't mind. Is
Go
this
ahead.
the CDC and the UP in the runoff? Is it a case of two wrongs in a conflict? Or like our friend said, the one I put up, oh, these are two evil, don't vote for any. Or this
Two
is
rounds in the conflict.
yeah.
I have to have a Bouaka as a president and a Weah as a president to answer that question. I cannot answer the question. I cannot compare Weah presidency to Bouaka's presidency because it's apples and oranges. So I cannot say
Excellent.
it's
Right.
too evil. There is no data to prove what a Weah
Powerful.
presidency is compared to Bouaka's. So that question is completely invalid. There's nothing to compare. They were not two ex-presidents running for re-election. We are talking about
Excellent.
sitting president and somebody who has never been a president. What is there to compare?
So going to the runoff now, will you consider that choose the lesser of two evil? Would that be?
What is the evil? Like what evil are we comparing here?
I don't
Because
know. I don't know either.
if there was evil, if we are to compare evils, and I want you to bring the evil that Bouaka has as a president. That's how I think, and that's my background, and that's how I analyze things. We have to have a case study. What is your use case? There's no use case here. You cannot just throw two evils. What is the evil? Like bring a presidency of Bouaka, bring a presidency of Weah, and I will compare, and I'll give you my
Compare.
records, and I will give you my analysis, and I
Exactly.
will give you comparison. There's nothing to compare here. So these
We'll
questions
never
are
have
out
that.
of place.
We'll
Yep.
never have that. Glendy, let me come to you quickly. I know you're going to leave soon, so that you can give us your final thought, and then you can comment on the next thing that we're coming to, which is tribalism in the elections, the first round. There are a lot of tribalism charges being thrown around. I have my own opinion, but let me get your closing comments, and then on the tribalism issue and everything we've discussed, and then we can take leave of you.
So we're looking for me, we're looking forward to the runoff. We're looking forward to seeing that President Ria's term is over, that we have Joseph Boyka as our president. Then we can hold him accountable. I like the response from Olive, and that's what I've been telling people. You can't ask me to compare Boyka to Ria because Boyka has not been a president. And you can also look at what his experience has been with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to compare that experience with him to George Weah. So I'm hoping that the Liberian people will go out to vote, and they will vote in a number based on what their personal experiences are. We can say we can encourage, but it will have to depend on what their personal experience are. We can only hope that they will say bye to George Weah. On the matter of tribalism, that's a question that I'm just gonna answer, and I hope I like to refer to her as the historian will not hold me responsible for any answer I gave here that is incorrect, and that is my sister Cole. I would like to say I'm gonna try not to answer that question because I think all of us, or me, I think I was born into tribalism. My father was a Grand Bassa, some part of Grand Bassa, along with the Congo people. My grandparents, they're Mandingo and they're Crew people. And so all of the tribes don't agree. So whether we like it or not, there is some form of tribalism all over. Even when you do Congo country, that's a form of tribalism. And there's no way to say that it didn't play a part in these elections, especially when you see what the Nima vote has shown us. So I think it's there. high prominent it is what we need to look at, but I think it's something that is not going to go away. I think it's just how we are going to be able to relate to what effects it has on us as a people. That would be the only thing. But I think tribalism will always be there because we're all from different tribes. That's how I look at it. But Kauma look at it differently because she has the
Yes,
research.
I do. Yes, I do. Look at it very differently.
Yeah, so I know she does. So that's how I wanna say this is just my opinion, not a researched opinion.
And just before you go, what does voting on tribal line mean?
So it's not all inclusive because then it's like, take for example, Vice President Joel Howard Taylor today is encouraging the people of Bone County, how the audacity that she has to tell Bone County people, please vote like Southeasterners. It's like, how did she even get to that conclusion? So I think it doesn't help us as a people when we go against tribal lines, because then you alienate other people who want to become a part of you. So Joel Howard Taylor thinks now we are and I just stumbled upon her news. So for the rest of the evening tomorrow, I'm going to deal with that issue on Facebook. But the thing about it is, for you to even say, to come up now and say, I want the people of Bone County to vote like the Southeasterner, because everybody, according to her, everybody from Southeastern region voted in George Weah's favor. So Bone County should not vote in her favor. I think that's wrong. And I think that's just putting people against one another, number one. So I asked my question to her today was, where do you live? Do you live in Bone County? My grandparents are from Bone County. I stayed in Bone County a couple of times. So how dare you to even suggest that when you're saying that you're just preaching tribalism by doing that?
Exactly.
And just because you say that, I'm going to play that video.
Please do.
And I'm going to play the video for both the presidential running mates of Weah and Waka. Let's start with Joel Howard.
How you came and so forth. What's your message?
I have two messages. The first one is that Bone County should be like the Southeast. The Southeasterners actually showed that George Weah comes from the Southeast. From county to county. Regardless of the negative propaganda that went into the process, the Southeasterners realized that if George Weah remains their president, whatever plans and programs they have will be handled. And so they voted to give their support to their son. And I want Bone County to do the same thing. It's taking us 170 years to derive a vice president. And people should take their eyes off the fact that I'm sitting in the seat. It could be any son or any daughter of Bone County. What my appeal would be, let Bone County vote for his own. We may be looking at many things. I believe the messages coming from NIMA have been clear. Those who are running, the message to the people is what? Vote for your own. And I hope Bone County will do the same, that the vice presidency will remain.
Oh my gosh.
And the vice president look at
Oh my
Southeast
God.
has a county because it's Southeast.
Oh my
and Bone.
God.
But let's play the one from Mr. Jeremiah Count, who said the people of Grand Judah voted because tribalism.
And if any group of people are suffering in this country, it's the people in the Southeast. No role, health system zero. I mean, as struggling as NIMBA is compared to them, we are trying on our own here. And so the way they voted, if it is not because of tribalism, then it is because maybe many people there are benefiting. And this one has to be clear. And I was thinking, I've been thinking, how could this happen? So then I saw one answer that said 4 ballot boxes were overstuffed. If 4 were overstuffed that were able to see, then what happened to places that we're not able to see? That's one. 2, if a county like Grand Cru that is to the size of Secretary Grand Crew and Sacred Pied Mine are equal. Sacred Pied Mine could be more populated than Grand Crew. Sacred Pied Mine. But let me say Sacred Mine and Grand Crew equal in terms of population and everything. If there is
You got the drift. Glendy, complete your thought.
I mean, I'm still trying to digest why she said that. I think her coming out and saying that actually does speak to tribalism. I don't know why she felt the need to make such a statement. I think it's wrong. But I don't, I think the way that Kennedy Coon has said it, I don't know how would he relate it to the people of Nima County and how they voted, but I see that he aligned it with the fact that there were boxes. There were 4 boxes or whatever he said, but I think it's it's sad for me to hear Jewel Holler Taylor speak that after she's been in the position for 6 years, really haven't done anything for the women and people of Bond County, and then she comes and wants to say, vote for your daughter. Are you kidding me? But anyway, I'll deal with that situation for the rest of the week. Thank you, ladies. Unfortunately, I have to leave, but it was great being here.
Thank you,
Thank you
Glendy.
so much
Thank
for
you,
your
I will
Glendy.
join you
contribution.
tomorrow
Thank
Thanks.
you.
to
Oh my
drag
God.
that rope.
Olive, did
Oh my
Labrador,
God.
Olive, did Labrador vote on tribal lines or did they
Oh my
vote their
God.
own?
Dennis. I cannot believe that I'm hearing this thing that you just played from Mrs. Taylor. This is
Mm-hmm.
disgusting. This is absurd. And this is forbidding. This is divisive and this is evil for anyone
Evil.
in her capacity. Oh my gosh, to come up and say such a deplorable, like disgusting, that makes me sick to the stomach. You understand? Sometimes you hear stuff, but just hearing it, if you told me this on this show without hearing it from her, I wouldn't believe you. That's the kind of person I am. I have to hear her saying it. Anything they tell me about any politician, I say, did you hear them saying it? Can I see the video coming from their mouth? And I will be able to tell if that was an AI that is speaking on behalf of that
No,
politician.
no.
And which in this case, I watched the video and I'm hearing this kind of thing coming from a vice president of a country saying that you should vote like the Southeasterner, and you see how they voted. So are you saying that Liberia is Southeastern? Dennis, before I heard this video, I wrote down here that the issue or the discussion of tribalism benefits those who want to throw it out there as a mechanism to actually cast fear in people and divide Liberians. Now, hearing this from the vice president, that is so sickening. It's like,
Exactly.
is somebody actually saying this? Does she actually mean this? She needs to come back to the Liberian people and take back that statement. We need an apology as Liberians for someone to be this divisive as a vice president and coming up and saying that people should vote as Southeasterners, they should vote Bon County because I'm sitting president and your own people will come and vote here and they will vote there. Why are you dividing the country, Mrs. Taylor? Why? Mrs. Taylor, why? This is bad. This is bad for 2023 for you to put such a split in Liberia like this. This is wrong. It
It's
is
very
wrong. If
wrong.
nobody told you,
Thank
I'm telling
you.
you now. It is
Thank
Very
wrong.
you.
wrong.
Madam, it is wrong. It is bad. You can't be saying stuff like this. You sound so primitive. You sound uneducated. You sound lost. You are lost. This
Thank
is the
you.
only thing you can tell your people. Do you have any issue to put before them? Like the lady was saying, my sister was saying, what have you done for the people? You want to tell people to vote because they're from a certain area in Liberia? Shame on you, Mrs. Taylor. Shame on you.
Thank you.
Shame on you. I dare you say stuff like that. You sound like a child. You can't say stuff like that. You cannot open your mouth 2023 and say things like this in Liberia. Why you
Exactly.
and now I was and Jeremiah Kuhn for what he said, and I wrote it down. He is actually piggybacking from what she said. This is what she said, and that's what Jeremiah Quinn is echoing. She said the people voted in the Southeast because of trouble, and Jeremiah Quinn said, yes, that's what they did, because that's what George Taylor is saying. I don't see anything that Jeremiah Quinn is saying on the contrary to what Mrs. Taylor just said. She's inciting that people should vote in Liberia based on tribal and regional politics. That is wrong. That is wrong. This is wrong. Like
Since
I think maybe
2023.
the balancing topic would bring such a video. This is my first time hearing this kind of thing. I mean, I've never heard this woman address the nation. I've never heard her speak any issues. I don't know. Show me the video. But just hearing her say this, I think this is despicable, and I think this should be frowned upon by every Liberian,
I have
including the
library.
Southeasterners. I don't believe that the Southeasterners are tribalists. I don't believe that. I think the message of tribalism benefits those who want the Southeasterners to be tribalists. They are not.
It's
I don't want
always
to
been
believe
that way.
I don't want to believe that. I think some people are benefiting from this conversation. Southeasterners should vote this. I don't believe that the Southeasterners are tribalists. I don't believe that. I think it benefit those kind of statements incite riots, incite like political riot and uproar, and this is wrong for our country. A vice president of a nation, a rich country, a civilized nation such as Liberia that have bred and raised great people to this world, to benefit this world and contribute positively to this civilized society. There should be no vice president saying that, and I think Mr. Weir should condemn her. This is wrong.
Oh, he will.
Excellent. So,
thank you.
Wait for Dennis. Sorry. Thank you so much, Alice.
Thank you, Olive, for that. That's really great.
The VP has a history of saying those kind of things.
Thank you,
Last
Olive.
time,
So
she blamed young girls, or she blamed mothers for young girls being molested.
Okay, you see the issues I'm talking about, and Liberians are listening to that. You're listening to that. And I will tell you, Mr. Ria, if you have any chances for being president re-elected, that your chances just went down the drain with that lady you have. She is incompetent. She is incompetent. Her words.
She's unpatriotic.
Let me go to Deba.
Yes.
Olive, I won't say that because the president echoes exactly Madam Howard.
No.
Let me listen to it, and I will speak the same way.
Okay.
I want to hear
in the president's 6 years of this presidency, I have never heard him say fellow Liberians. It has always been fellow seditians, and that divisive politics have always been. And you know, I grew up in the U.S., but I moved to Liberia in 2012. You know me, Olive, 2012, and came back to the U.S. 2019. From George, we are taking over 2018. You've seen that Liberia has become very, very divisive on the tribal line. We had our issues, yes, with the war, but with this particular administration, they have pushed the tribal card. You look at it from the appointments of the within the government, the appointments, all those things, you could draw a clear line. And for the vice president today, this morning when I woke up and I actually listened to her interview, and at the end of her interview, she was asking the people of Bone County to sign a social contract with her. And I'm like, isn't that like sign a social contract with you? You're going into you're asking for a second term. That should have been something you did this first term. And from the work that you have done, they will say, okay, now you have done this as our daughter. Now we can bring you back and re-elect you, rather than just saying, oh, because you are a daughter, you are from Bone County, we should elect you. And she was just so condescending to the people of Bone County. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not about development. It's about your daughter. Everybody else is doing it. Do you see what's happening in the Southeast? And we can't say that. We cannot say that. We cannot operate like the people in the Southeast. We cannot
it's unconstitutional.
Liberia is a sovereign nation, and
is
unconstitutional for a
unconstitutional.
sitting vice president
It
to
is
do
unpatriotic.
that.
Yes,
It is absurd.
But
It
like,
is
absurd.
yes,
Yeah, AMA, you're
but
right.
like,
It's against the Constitution.
It is against the
but like,
Constitution.
it is. It is
It's a
absurd. It is,
it's
and
but
a
like
this is
it's a
not the
everything,
first
violation.
time. There was a
but
time, if you can remember,
but
Cole.
like
I
everything else,
sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry,
yeah,
Deba. Go ahead.
I'm saying, but like everything else in this government, they have been in violation from day one,
One.
Exactly.
and
So
we just keep going. We just keep going. We just keep going. We would take. I would take it from Cabina. We would, and they just
Thank
keep
you.
pushing the envelope, and we're just sitting there. Okay, tomorrow, it will be okay. Okay, they did the other one. Then tomorrow it will be okay. I hear that one, but I hear the other one. It will be okay. We need to do something. Liberia needs to do something. This
We do.
tribal thing is what took us to the wall. For some of us, for me, I did not experience the wall. Okay? For me, I did not experience the war, but history tells me it started like this. The drum beat started like this, pinning people against each other. People that were once neighbors, people that were once friends. Now in Liberia, people don't socialize like before. I would say like before my ancestral time, people don't socialize, people don't have conversation because people are what? Recording each other, taking it here, blackmailing people, and the whole list goes on. There needs to be something done. Liberia, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. There's no less of a two evil. There's the evil that we need to put a stop to. And that is
yeah.
the second term of George Mani Weah, period, full stop.
Dennis?
Mm.
Madam Cassell, was there tribalism or voting on tribal lines in round one of the elections, to your
Um,
knowledge? Because people are being accused a lot, and
it has been happening, and it's way before the campaign started. If you can remember, Cole, I talked about Samuel 12 talking to some, I think, people from Grand Bassa, and he said, y'all know it's more with me here. We got to vote with us, Istina. We got to vote, which there's nothing called some Istina anyway, but with us, Istina, we got to vote for our own. Everybody coming after the 18 year old, so they can't take it from her. And I was like, did I hear him right? But nobody, and then he said, and after we get another 6 years, after we get another 6 years, then we'll see what will happen. And I said to Cole, I said that's a threat to our democracy, right? Okay, nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. So if Joy Howard Taylor come and say it today, she wouldn't boss trust him what he said. And many of their lines fall upon this tribalism thing. And that is it makes me so sad because we already have a fundamental problem of divisiveness. Why are we keep putting this divisive story that is a line, it's an illusion of Liberian people history. It's an illusion of, it's not real. Why we keep encouraging that the people from the southeast, the Bonkafe people, why people cannot, because our people really believe in their politicians, and our politicians got control over their people.
Hmm.
So when you use these words, you stem what is, you stem the lie, you stem the narrative that is destructive to us. This is
Right.
wrong. And it's sad because are not, most of our people haven't done civic, right? They are not, they love the country, but the education to what it means to be a citizen, most of our people don't have that. They fall
Yeah.
in love with their politicians. Most of our people don't even understand that these people work for us.
Yeah.
Most of our people don't even understand we are the people. We got the power. They have made our people to believe that it's a privilege for them to be our politicians.
Hmm.
And it's the other way around, but they don't want to say that to these people. So you sit in bureaucracy, and a lot of Bella people will like you because you Bella Omo. So you asking the Pele people, and first of Bonga is not only it's not the only place you got Pele people. So why are you trying to divide the place for tribe? And we're not saying anything. This is just so wrong. A tribe has never held a
How can
nation.
you guys
What?
Hello?
Go ahead.
No tribe have nowhere in
Yes,
the
I'm
world
sorry, Cole. Could
that
you send the link for this show in the chat room, please?
I'm not able
as
to
I
do
was
that
saying,
because I'm on my device.
I can do that now. I'll do that.
no country.
Thank
They
you.
got many countries with many tribes, but tribe have not held up a nation. Tribe has tribe has not made a nation what it is. A nation back the tribe. A nation makes the tribes, secures the tribes. Even if America was sitting in right now, or the Australia, they got many languages to speak here. But nobody is going by their tribe or their language to speak. So it's something that our Liberian people need to understand. Not because we're of the same tribe that I am for you, that I'm in your interest. Not because we're of the same tribe that I will do what you want me to do or what I'm supposed to do. And because of all these things, we see a lot of discrepancy in the running of the country. We see this government has made a lot of mistakes. Come and one thing I hold against them, when they did the referendum, when the referendum failed, they still went against the people's will.
The
And
referendum, be specific about the referendum, AMA.
the changing of the changing
The
of
dual citizenship
the
referendum you're
dual
talking about?
citizenship referendum, which was
Okay.
the citizens said no, but because they have no respect for us, they don't care about the Constitution. They went ahead and changed it. So why would I want to? Why would I want to support? Well, why would any Liberians, for that matter, want to support a government that don't respect them, that don't go by the Constitution? The Constitution holds the nation. The Constitution is the foundation of the nation. If you don't respect the laws of the Constitution, then why are you there?
They don't even know it.
Why
Joe
are you
can't use
there?
type the people get elected, they don't even know it.
So all of these things we're saying, I know amongst whatever, these are not the best. Are these the best that we got to offer? No. But for now, I'd rather somebody that practice piloting than somebody that never pilot the plane. If they practice piloting, I able to sit in the plane tomorrow with you. But you never pilot plane before, I won't sit in the plane with you.
Thank you.
Good analogy.
Thank you.
So that was just my point I wanted to make, Dennis.
All right.
Thank you. If you're watching and you want to be part of the show, please call the number on your screen, 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403#. You will be entered in the queue and I will bring you in the order you came in. Let me hear from Carl your take on this whole tribalism
So
thing.
I wanted to answer Glendy when she raised an issue and asked me what I thought. So the first thing is the counties before Samuel Doe's administration, the counties were not carved out. The counties are just administrative districts for our country, for our country. The counties were not carved out with regard to ethnicity. The boundaries for the counties were not carved out with regard to the languages that the people spoke within the counties. That was intentional. The Liberian Constitution does not mention, not the 1847 nor the 1986 Constitution, they do not mention ethnicity or so-called tribe. You'll never see anything in the Constitution that says Pele or Loma or Basa or Dan or Manu or Bai. It's not in the Constitution. As far as our laws are concerned, you are a Liberian, period. When Joel and all of our representatives, Senator Johnson, President Weah, when they are elected by the citizens, they take an oath to the Constitution. They don't take an oath to a tribe. They don't take an oath to a county. They take an oath to the Constitution. Even if they are representing the county, it is part of a whole. Nimba doesn't have its own constitution. Grand Jita doesn't have its own constitution. That's the first thing I want to say. So tribalism is not built into our laws. It's not recognized. Nobody has time for it legally. So when you take an oath to office, every citizen is a citizen, period. regardless of the religion or the language they speak. The second thing is, Grand Jita is not in the Southeast. I don't know, in my entire life, even when I live in Liberia, Grand Jita has always been the eastern part of the eastern territory of Liberia. There's no such thing as the Southeast. It was Grand Jita, most of Grand Cru, part of Maryland, part of, in fact, almost all of Sino, everything except that what is on the coast was always called Eastern Liberia. And Jewel is here talking about Bone County. When Jewel Howard Taylor was born in 1963, there was no such thing as Bone County. Bone County is younger than Jewel. Jewel was born in 1963. She was born in what was called the Central Territory of Liberia. The Central Territory of Liberia encompassed Nimba, Lofa, Bong. Most of Nimba, all of Lofa, and Bopulu, and some of Bopulu, and Bong County, what we consider Bong in northern Grand Bassa. So the ignorance is so extreme. She's not from, some county administrative boundary that was created in 1964 when you were a walking bigot. That way you want to come pour on people's head here and act like it's some kind of ethnic identity. It is not. It is a false consciousness. And the reason they're promoting this false consciousness is because they want to remain in power. If it means destroying the unity of the country for them to remain in power, they will do it. This is wickedness. You sitting down here, Nimba, talk about political unity versus tribalism. Political unity versus tribalism. Jeremiah Kuhn was born in Nimba. His ethnicity originated in Sino. Jeremiah Kuhn is from two different ethnic backgrounds. A father from Sino, who's Grebo, and a mother who is Gio, or Dan. I don't like the word Gio because it doesn't mean any, it's not the real name of the ethnic group. His mother is Dan, his father is from the south, it's from Sino. Sis Glendy, that was sitting here, my dear sister Glendy, was saying something very important. She said her grandparents are Mandingo, she's Bassa, she's the descendant of African Americans. Guess what? That's a sign that we have all been intermarried, interconnected for generations. Joseph Boyka is not from all of Lofa. Joseph Boyka is a Kisi man. He's from a place in the North and Central Territory. It's a diverse place. Many religions, many ethnic groups. Lofa is not a tribe. Nimba is not a tribe. While 90% of the people in Bone County are Pele-speaking people because that's the largest ethnic group in our country, followed by the Bassa, these people are spread across counties. You've got Pele speakers in Bopulu, you've got Pele speakers in Monserrato that have been there since before the Republic was established. This is ignorance to the highest level.
That's level.
So as far as addressing the issue of the way Nimba voted, as a Ma woman, and I'm Ma on both sides of our family for many, many generations, I am not one of those Liberians who's fortunate to have been part of an intermarriage of different ethnic groups. I am a ethnic unicorn. But with that being said, Nimba is not a Ma place. There's different ethnic groups in Nimba. The reason you see people in Nimba voting the way they are. Last time Nimbayans voted for George Weah, overwhelmingly. Last time Nimbayans voted for George Weah. That wasn't tribalism. Nobody was talking about Southeast. Nobody was doing that during the 2017 election. It wasn't that extreme. It was more country nonsense they were talking, but they weren't going as far as to try to divide people based on the language they speak or which county they were born in. I didn't see that. What you see happening in Nimba is a direct response to an attack against the people of Nimba. Because Prince Johnson chose to stop supporting Weah, George Weah got up and said, the people, what have you brought with you in the government, carry them with you. He then started calling upon the people from his perceived region, this man that were born and raised in the slums of Monserrato, calling upon people from his perceived ethnic group. When he was buddy with Prince Johnson, he was claiming to be Gil. When he wants vote for Alquar, he Mandingo, he Muslim. He got Mandingo ancestor, he got Muslim background. When he wants vote for the other group, he's this. This is not about sincerity, it's about power.
It's all power. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's our power, and we always, again, if you want to be part of the discussion, I don't see any call here. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to see if we have some callers here. There's a Malawala Balawala Reloaded is coming up. If you all remember Malawala Balawala, but don't take it from me. Listen to this.
Say Papa Kamasoko or the sun Bala Wala.
My people, yo, come on, we got G's for y'all. And you remember that hit series back in the 80s, Malawala Balawala? Well, get ready. Malawala Balawala Reloaded is in the works. And all Liberians, both local and abroad, are coming together to make it happen and make it happen bigger than ever. We even played a more big fundraiser with popular comedians like GGG and Kekura Kamara, the original Malawala Balawala.
The giant Chama China is in the house, and I'm going to be part of this amazing project. We want to invite you guys to join the discussion and the fundraiser on Facebook. Focus on Liberia on October 29th. And now, let the legend himself tell you.
Dami Kekura Kamara, the original Malawala Balawala man. Yes, Malawala Balawala Reloaded will not be easy, oh my people. It will bring together new Liberian talent, comedians, actors, actresses. Your please join us for our fundraiser on Sunday, October 29 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time or 5 p.m. Liberian Standard Time. This will be on Facebook on the program Focus on Liberia with Dennis Jar.
I have come from the farm ever since I've been knocking the door.
Join us for Malawala Balawala Reloaded. Or if you're having some problem, we can tell.
Yeah, I phone went.
Exciting.
Yeah,
That
I'm
sounds
back.
really
I'm
good.
back.
All right. You're in double here, no? Okay, you're right.
Yes,
One of
go
you
back.
is going now. All right. So we have a caller on the line. We're going to take the caller in a moment here. But let me put on the question that I know most of you spoke to that already. Are tribal or regional politics negatively affecting the democratic process? Deba, you take the question while I connect the full line.
I would say yes. As we go into this election, it's important that we look at the issues. We need to look at the platforms. We need to look at, what it is that George Weah has done in the past 6 years and what he's proposing to do for the next 6 years. We also need to look at the Unity Party platform, what they have in that platform and how they are planning on moving Liberia to the next level. So if we leave that and just go into this chaotic frenzy about, vote Southeastern, vote, Northeastern, and all of this, we would not be solving the problem of the Liberian people. I just want my people to just listen to the issues. When we call back home, when we talk to our people, when we talk to our neighbors, let's talk to them on the issues. Let's talk to them on what the people that are asking us to give them 6 years have done for us. Yes, people would say Jose Yuma Barka, we have not seen the presidency of Jose Yuma Barka. However, we have seen 12 years of Jose Yuma Barka serving under a president, which is Madan Salih. So we have seen that. And we are also seeing the platform of the Unity Party. And we have seen that we could, I'm sorry, somebody was talking. We could see that Jose Yuma Barka has always preached peace. He's a peaceful old man. He always talk about coming together, joining the country together, unifying us as a people. That's the message we need to preach for Liberia. for us to be a democratic nation. Yes, I believe that tribalism negatively affects our society. So I think we should do away with that, and we should promote unity, and we should look for a candidate that will bring us together and that will be able to take Liberia to the next 6 years. And I
Thank
think
you.
that's just a Yuma Braka.
Thank you. I did not even hear that Josh Weah was from Grand Crew until he was running for president.
Tell me about it.
Tell me
So
about it.
these
Don't
politicians
mind him.
always
He goes
use
to
that.
Ghana. He Ghanaian. I got a video of him telling Ghanaian people he's Ghanaian because he was in Ghana. He was looking for Ghanaian Jew. Let him get up from here.
So at this time,
Go.
let me bring on our callers. Again, if you are there, you want to call, the number is on the screen. Our first caller is from 609 area code. Your name and where you calling from?
Hi, Dennis. This is Clarence calling from New Jersey.
Your full name, please.
Clarence Pearson.
Oh, Clarence, go ahead, Clarence. Okay.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Dennis. I want to say hi to you and hi to your guest. And I want to just say thanks to Focus on Liberia for the opportunity to have us contribute towards conversation pertaining to Liberia.
Thank you.
You know, I listen to the discussion, and the thing that I got from here. I mean, you guys have had you have a beautiful conversation, but you know, when you have to be honest with ourselves. You know, when your panelists say there that that tribalism is a problem for Liberia, I agree 100%. But you see, the honesty is not in the conversation. And all of us know, knowing Liberia, growing up in Liberia and living in Liberia, like Gladys said from the beginning when she started our conversation, tribalism is ingrained in the political culture of Liberia. And it's surprising to see others sit there and try to make it seem as though that the ruling government and Joe Howard Taylor is more tribalistic than the Joseph Boga camp. Let me just remind us a little bit. The most two tribalistic political groups in Liberia when it comes to tribe is the Lofians and the Nimbayan.
Lofa and Nimba are not a tribe. And Dennis, you're not going to allow people to come here and lie. The Lofa and Nimba are administrative divisions of Liberia. No, he will not finish talking nonsense. Let me correct himself. Nimba is not a tribe. It is an administrative division of Liberia. Lofa is not a tribe. Speak what you mean. Which tribe is tribalistic? Call the name of the tribe. Don't be calling administrative districts and saying all the people inside are tribalistic. Who is tribalistic?
That's your problem right there. That is my problem right there.
Who is tribalistic?
Is the caller asking?
Are you saying Loma people are tribalistic? Are you saying Mono people are tribalistic? Because Lofa and Nimba are administrative divisions of a country.
Call, let him finish, please.
He will finish once I correct him. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Clarence. Go ahead.
If you grow up in Nigeria, you know that the culture in Lofa has that uncle and nephew characteristic.
Lofa has so many
Dennis, is he done with his question? I want to answer that caller. I want to be able to answer him.
Let him finish. Go ahead and spew it. Let him go ahead. Talk.
Let him finish, please.
The uncle and nephew characteristics in the local culture drive the political characteristics. In Nima County, there's no country in Liberia that is more tribalistic than Nima when it comes to political campaigning and voting. And it surprises me.
Nimba is not a tribe.
Call, let him finish.
No, listen, man. You sit there and talk about Joy Howard Taylor when you come up with
because she's a vice president. She was elected to represent all Liberian people, and she's there talking about Bond County. We were talking.
Dennis, when is this question going to be over? Is there a question? Because I want to answer
this. Dennis likes to let these hate mongers use his platform to spew hatred to disrespect Liberian people and to disrespect the truth. Not while I'm present. It will not happen.
There was no comparison with Joa Taylor.
I said I ain't calling a county a tribe.
I spoke to the issue. I spoke to the video.
Go find
I was not comparing Joel with anyone. I was not comparing Joel with anyone. I
Let
was
me
not
just say
comparing
something.
Joel with anyone to correct that. I spoke to the video. You should stick with, you see, that's the problem here. Liberians don't stick with the issue because they have nothing to discuss. You have no valid points. You did not hear what was said here. I did not compare Joel to
Exactly.
anyone. I spoke to the video. I spoke to what I heard. I spoke
Yeah,
to what I heard.
all of you will
So
have chance. Let him finish, then you can
he
respond, please.
keeps going on. He needs
Yeah,
to have a
because you're
cap
not
on the
letting him
question.
talk.
There
You
has
are
to be a cap
interrupting
on the
him.
question. He's going on and on and on.
Yeah,
The man not even talking anything sound, talking
Yeah,
about tribal
he has to be
a
able to
council
be
that was created in 1964
we can't
and
just
administrative
adopt
district that was
randomly.
created in 1964 that tribe again.
please
Put your
let him
thoughts
finish. Let
together.
him finish.
Put
You
your
are not
thoughts
going to beat the
together and
Sunday
finish
here.
the call.
Please let him finish this call. Let him finish talking, and you can come on. Please, you have to let him finish. Go ahead, Clarence.
Nima County from time immemorial vote on tribal bias. They will tell you precisely they vote based upon who Senator Johnson wants them to vote for. That's the reason why Joseph Broka even on Zoom and they don't Jeremiah Kuhn to be his vice senator because he needed a vote for Nima County, and Nima vote on the basis of their brother and their countrymen.
Thank you.
That part he's saying there, I
want to answer
would
this.
agree with what he just said there. But the only issue I have with him was referring to these counties as tribes.
Thank you.
No, you are wrong. Nimba is not a tribe.
No call. You
And
keep
neither is Lofa.
over him. While he's talking, then we'll have just noise. Let him finish.
Can't hear him.
Thank you, Clarence. Let me take the next caller.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. At least, please,
So, before we go to the next caller, Dennis, we have to clear the air. He's calling and he's throwing things in the atmosphere. We have to answer that. I know you're going to go to the next.
Atmosphere. He's a bigot.
No, yeah. You know, bigots. Unfortunately, people listen to bigots because they don't have information. They don't have the information. So
I mean, we can't go on calling him a bigot. Let's respond.
Yeah,
to
but
what
Dennis, if somebody comes on this platform and attacks your ethnic group, your ethnic background, and you're offended, nobody will tell you, Sid, the person who's attacking you ethnically is not a bigot. Don't do it to us.
No. He's not.
Don't do it to us. Don't tell me when somebody is being bigoted or not.
No, he's not. He's not.
The discussion here and what was said here, I spoke to the video. I was not comparing anyone with anyone.
You can respond like that.
I spoke to the video caller. I spoke to the video. You know, that's the thing that listening to respond, not to comprehend. It's a different thing from listening to what we're saying and comprehending. So if you're here and already not talking on behalf of I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the Liberian people. And I think what Joel Taylor said, I'm going to echo it, that is wrong for a vice president. It is wrong. It is wrong. And if you want to sit here and talk about Lofa or Nimba, you can see from the election results that Nimba did not vote on a tribalist basis. We can all see that. So and you guys are trying to demonize the Southeasterner, and that's what Joel Taylor is doing. She's trying to pin them as tribalists, and that's wrong. We have good people. We have good and sound people that speak to the issue in the Southeast. They are not tribalists. Joel Taylor is wrong, and wrong is wrong. She's the vice president. So I don't want you twisting stuff around. Nobody is attacking her. We are not comparing. We are speaking to the issue, the video. I'm speaking to the video.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for clearing that, Olive. Thanks.
Thank you. And that's all I want. I want the person to be finished, and then we are able to provide the clarity and whatever we need to provide. We shouldn't be able to talk over each other. Let me take this next caller here. 586 area code. Your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, your name and where you calling from?
Elijah Washington.
Go ahead. You have to turn on what you are listening to so we don't get the feedback.
My name is Elijah Washington. I'm calling from Michigan.
Go ahead, Elijah.
Yeah, so I just turned on my television now. I just want to thank your explaining as well to our people. And saying some of the points you've made are so silly, and I think that's something we need to listen to and comprehend and be able to share with our people. For me, I'm a person who I've heard a lot of people talking about our platform. The platform. I've been a big person when it comes to talking about following a political party platform. I believe in the person. If I know the person is a good person and the person is able to lead our country, I'm going to follow you. I'm not going to follow platform. Because if somebody is good and have the intention of the country to take up the country, even if they have a bad platform, because that person is a good person that understands what they want, they can do the best for the country. Let's take for example, if you have a beautiful design, and you give it to a carpenter, say, "Oh, go and do this for me." If he knows nothing, he's going to do nothing. But if you have a good design, if you have a bad design, and give it to a good person who knows what he wants, he can transform that platform into something better. So that's for me. That's why even when I was in Nigeria many years ago, I voted for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf because I thought she was the best candidate. But now, I just think when I look at Josh Weah and look at Blacker, I think they're the two best candidates for the country. But hey, if that's what the Liberian people want, let them vote for them. Yeah, we have a better candidate. I think right now there are people who are better than Josh Weah and that of Blacker. So I would go for somebody who I think is the best person for the country. So for me,
Oh my God.
yeah, you got a beautiful platform, but you have somebody who doesn't know what he wants to do. Even if the platform is beautiful, it's going to do absolutely nothing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think your panelists are being they are taking on what you taught them to do. They're doing the best they can to educate our people, let the people listen to them. And if they have questions about what is there, let them ask them these questions. But I mean, we shouldn't be angry about because they expressed their view and their opinion. I think we should just listen and we can all contribute to what our country wants.
Thank you. But Mr. Washington, we have going into the runoff. Do you think you have a side in the runoff, or who you think, or is it a case of the lesser of two evil? What you make of that?
Well, that's a beautiful question. I've been thinking about it over the years. When I look at Josh Weah and Blacker, I don't know whether there's something called lesser of evil just put in our country. I think we're just going through a neutral factor. If any of those people, any of the two out there, if you like them, it's just a neutral factor. It's going to be the same thing. Blacker is going to change absolutely nothing in that country. Josh Weah is doing absolutely nothing. So we just follow the same thing.
Thank you.
6 months, there are Liberian people will be crying again and say, "Hey, you made a wrong decision." When Josh Weah was coming down, there are Liberian people saying, "Oh, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did nothing. Josh Weah has come to change everything." After
2% was overall. There's no way you're even thinking.
The same criminals just keep.
They're going to go after school.
2%. We just go to support you. It's just a matter of just like let it go. But
Thank you.
I don't think nothing is going to change.
Thank you. Let me take my last caller here. That's Mr. Kalebo Gonglo. The man who say no good or bad, just pick one. Mr. Gonglo, you're live. Mr. Gonglo, please turn off your tape.
Thank you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. This is a fascinating discussion. My first comment, let me commend Olive White. This is my first time seeing her on our platform here. There was a point Olive made which actually made me to believe she stood out very tall on this issue. When you guys were comparing Blacker and Weah presidency, I think she was very analytical. She established herself like an intellectual icon. She said, I'm not going to quote about framing my own way. She actually framed the argument like a counterfactual argument because there's no data on Blacker presidency, but we have data on Weah presidency. So you can compare the two, right? So she kept talking data, you know. So I think that was a point. I think it speaks to our background, then a system engineer and so. But okay, that is out of the way. But I wanted to speak on this tribal thing. We tend to dominate. You guys talk on many other issues, but towards the end, the tribal thing sort of overtook everything. But let's speak the truth. And I think the way we solve this issue in Liberia is to be truthful. So I'm from Nimba. Let's talk about Nimba. In Nimba, we say, Yago Nimba Yashi. Anything from Nimba is good. Even corrupt people from Nimba will still support them, even because from Nimba. That's tribalism. I mean, there are I see two Nigerians on the platform that didn't prove them wrong. In fact, today, if you talk on good public service record in Liberia, if Cole and Deba are for good public service record, they will not vote for Jeremiah Coon. Because he doesn't have good public service record. They will not. They will be critical, extending all for Liberia, not for Nima citizens. What Joel Howard Taylor said is condemnable. But before Joel Howard Taylor, Prince Johnson and Jeremiah Coon have been hammering the same thing in Nima people. Yeah. It's in the chat room. I mean, the one you showed on Secretary, you were just trying to make the argument about Saish not being in permanent job. If you had to play that video photo, you was going to talk about how you met somebody who is out of gray or whatever in Grand Crew, right?
Right.
I watch our whole thing. But beyond the point, the point is, who is making the point? Prince Johnson recently I'm surprised that you didn't go for that video. Prince Johnson had an interview on Truth FM where he said, anybody from Nima who does not support Kun Baga, they not a true Nimbayan. Because if Nimba Tina, he was supported in the roundup. He was public. This is a national radio station. He sat on there and said it. The records are out there. He was go to that one and compare what Joel Taylor said. So it's like everybody is going in the cluster for the West in the roundup election. And it's just the truth. So Liberia is a very
So Kalebo, you think Prince, you think that we are better than a better option? Then it's asking.
That's the question I wanted to ask Brother Kalebo.
Listen, did he just call me a travelist? Did Kalebo just call me a travelist on this app?
No,
Dennis, is that what that man just said?
I didn't think so.
No, that's what he
said. Hold on. Did Kalebo just call me a travelist?
No.
Okay.
He wasn't there.
Because I have an answer to that.
Yeah.
So no, let me come in, Alice. Let me come in. I want to no. He called my name. I'm gonna address him. Kalebo,
called my name as
you have
well.
You have a personal issue with Jeremiah Coon. Do not put your personal issue with Jeremiah Coon and Prince Johnson on Nimba County. What? Kalebo, don't try me on this platform. I know things. Don't try me on this platform. You sitting down here telling me that I'm a tribalist and that the only reason I'm saying people should make a choice in this election is because I'm from Nimba. Kalebo, that is not true. You know it's not true. You are bitter and vengeful because Jeremiah Coon defeated your sister in the senatorial race. Don't bring your personal vendetta to national issues. That's the problem with Liberia. That's worse than you sitting down there because somebody hurt you personally. That's the same thing a lot of my friends in ANC are doing. Because somebody did something to you personally, you want to take that personal issue and put it on the Liberian people. It's wrong. You got personal issue with people, you take it up with them. Don't try to introduce your hurt feelings into politics. Go and get counseling. Go and get counseling. Go heal yourself. Don't be bringing your personal issues and putting it on the people of Nimba or the people of Liberia. You got your personal vendetta. Go and take it up with the person you got issue with. You do not know me. You and I have never met. I have a lot of respect for your brother and your sister, but you will not come on this platform and try to denigrate me. And the fact that Dennis, listen, let me tell you something, Kalebo. I will not tolerate it. I will not tolerate it. You have a personal issue, you go take it out with the personal people. Don't bring it to me. Now, one day in my life have I been a tribalist. I wasn't raised that way. So much so I don't even speak my dialect. Okay? Don't bring that stuff to me. If you were raised with hatred, I wasn't raised with hatred. You got a vendetta. Jeremiah Coon defeated my mother in District 1. So it's not personal. This is about the Liberian people. If anybody has a right to be angry with Jeremiah Coon, it's me. That you're one who Jeremiah Coon whipped in election in Nimba. That only your sister. That you come on here and call people tribalists and try to accuse us of stuff. Go and come back with better story, Kalebo. Go and come back with better story. Who Jeremiah Coon whipped?
Our country, sweet country, our country, that God gave us this country. Fellow Liberian, that God gave us this country. We are going on everyone here to come and pray for this country, Liberia, Liberia, God gave us this country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello,
Thank you.
Call, especially you. The
I
reason we
think
open
when
the phone
someone
lines.
come, let the person
Hold
discuss
on.
and land, and then we can say it.
David, say that when they personally attack you.
No, hold on.
Don't
Call.
bring that nonsense. I'm not up for it, Dennis. I'm not gonna. No, Dennis.
No, Cole, you know, this
You
is
let someone. You as a moderator, you need to draw the line at personal attacks. I'm leaving the show. Y'all have a good day. Because you think I will sit down here and allow people to come and attack me?
No, Paul, you gotta say. You gotta say. You gotta say. You gotta say. You gotta say.
No, it's wrong. That's not how you moderate.
I think it's important.
No. The reason we open the phone line is for people to come.
But you also need to draw the line, so I don't need to defend myself.
You have to respect what we do here, please. You cannot keep interrupting the people when they call in. You have to give them a chance to talk, and then we have a chance to respond. But
all right,
by the time you
I already did what I did. I satisfied me, and I'm vexed again because I will not let it go. Thank you very much.
Please let it go. Please, you are disrupting when we are.
Dennis, I say I hear you, but I will tell you if somebody, can I just say this, Dennis?
No.
If someone comes on here,
Call, we got to give people a chance to talk. We
cannot. I heard you, and I accept what you're saying. I heard you, and I accept what you're saying, Dennis.
You don't want them to say anything.
You are repeating yourself, Dennis. I said I hear you, and I accept what you're saying.
Me when I'm doing this, you got to.
I accept what you're saying, but I will also say to you, while I agree with you, and I will apologize for interrupting your callers, going forward, I would ask you to moderate. If you hear a caller saying anything bigoted or personally attacking someone crossing the line, just say, hey, let's not get personal, because I will defend myself. That's all I'm saying.
You have the right to defend yourself.
Okay, I'm done, Dennis. I hear you. You repeated it, and I hear it. I hear it. And Kalebo will hear from me publicly. Kalebo Gunglo, when I finish with you, you will never call my name again.
Yeah, that one can be done outside.
I hear it and I say it. I will not take that.
Okay, we gotta move on. We gotta move on to the next caller.
This is Liberia's problem.
You can't do this. Please.
Listen, we just discussed Liberia's problem. This is Liberia's problem.
So, Dennis, we all are passionate people here when it comes to Liberia. So, but we gotta be orderly as well.
Olive, we have to be orderly, but this is Liberia's problem, as I was saying.
Yeah, and personal attacks are no.
We take our personal issue and make it national issue. We take our personal issue and cover the entire country with it. It had led us to losing our fathers, our mothers, our children. It's time that we understand that tribalism is no go. What my father did it, what my grandfather did it, it's a no go.
It's not right.
Not because my father did it, that my aunt should do it or my cousin should do it. We should understand that point. Why do we always make our personal issue something that to fool the Liberian people with, knowing that it's not in the Liberian people's interest?
That's true.
Absurd.
That's true.
Let us. The time we way above 2 hours here. We're going to conclude. Let me go around the room. I'm not happy with what went on. I do not appreciate the disruption. We have callers. If they call in, let's give them a chance to state their view. You have ample time to respond, and let's do it. Let's be respectful of what we do here.
Let's take some more callers, Dennis.
No, I'm not taking any callers. We are ending the program. Let us go around the room and give your closing comments. Go ahead, Olive, your closing comment. We're going to call Deba and then Amy. Your closing.
First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to the Liberian people. My closing here tonight would be that I'm here for Liberia. My position is Liberia and the benefit of Liberia. and I speak to the issues. I speak to the issues. I speak to what's been presented to me. If you present an evidence to me, I speak on it, and I do not hold back. I speak the truth based on what's been presented to me. So based on everything that we presented in this show, my point and my stand is based on that. However, again, I want to say that the issue of tribalism is wrong. As a Civil War survivor, I frown on anybody that is tribalist. I am an entrepreneur. I hire people who are competent. I work with people from every county in Liberia. So when I hear somebody who is in the higher position speaking this from the pulpit, that is despicable. I will frown on that, and I will say that at any time. And if and I was presented data on anybody saying that is in high position, I will also do the same because I am fair and I'm not a tribalist. And I'm asking Liberians if they buy the change that they need in their lives, then they should have a change. If they feel that the life is better the way it is, then they should stay with who they are with. And that is just that simple. So I'm hoping that we all can speak on the issue that is presented to us, and we can be Liberians for once. Let's be Liberians for one. It's too much hard feelings. And that's what I see a lot of amateurs in this campaign, because everybody is in their feelings. Everybody is attacking each other, and they're not speaking to the issues. They're speaking based on bitterness, malice, and personal vendetta against each other, and not for the Liberian people. And I frown on that, and that's why I don't subscribe to and I don't participate in that, because they are running amateur campaigns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sis.
Call your closing.
Again, I really believe that some of the issues that I'm seeing people raise in this election during this runoff period, where you have two very different options. Everything that those who are saying, well, let the whole country just die because this person offended me back in 1985, or this person did this to me, or this person defeated my sister in an election, this person personally offended me. They're taking that personal issue and trying to project that onto others. This is very problematic. While I was quick to interrupt people and it was inappropriate, I do stand by the idea that it is not appropriate to come on a platform, instead of addressing the positions people took, to misrepresent people's character. I have spent my entire life trying to uphold my father's memory through service to Liberia. I'm not going to allow anyone to come on here and defame my personal character or achievements because they don't agree with a political position that I'm taking. And for that reason, that is the reason why I responded the way I did. It absolutely triggered me. And again, it wasn't to interrupt the show, Dennis, but I just need to make that point. There's a lot of us that have done a lot to try to advance the cause of the Liberian people, even right here on this platform. I'm not a person that brags or goes around telling everybody what I do for Liberia. But I know what I do. And I know what so many other people do. And to try to reduce people on a public platform simply because you have a personal vendetta with someone else, I think is unacceptable. So if you see me respond the way I did, that is the reason, because I'm looking at the culmination of all of my efforts being spit upon by someone who does nothing for Liberia. It's unacceptable.
Thank you. Deba, your closing.
Wow, a lot has been said tonight. But what I want the Liberian people to know, that in this November 7 runoff. We need to look at Liberia. We need to think about Liberia. We need to come together as a people to save Liberia. Like I said, my position is clear. I'm a Unity Party partisan, and I want to encourage the 18 other parties that took part in this gone election on October the 10th. The message is the same, which is to remove George Minor Weah. That is what you all ran on. We need to put aside everything else and come together. I want to encourage the other people that did not win, you know, come on the rescue team. Come and join the Unity Party. Let us save Liberia. We're not saying Joseph Yuma Boaka is going to do everything. He's going to solve all of our problems in 1847. But what we are saying that Liberia needs to be rescued. I want to encourage everyone in Liberia and around the world. If you're Liberians, this is the time to step up and join the rescue team as we march on November the 7th. We don't want anyone to stay home. Forget about the invalid. We are going to go back and educate our people on that. Come and vote. Come and vote for Liberia. Come and vote for the future of Liberia. We have seen 6 years of Liberia going back to pre-war days. We don't want that. George Weah is not in the interest of Liberia. We have heard Jua Howard tell us she's not in the interest of Liberia. We have heard everything that's going on in Liberia. I was in Liberia in May. I have seen what is going on. So I want to encourage our people to come out and vote. Come out and vote for the future of Liberia. Join the rescue team and let us make history. Let us put Liberia back. Let us put Liberia where she belongs. Okay? So I just want to say thank you, Dennis. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the Liberian people. Thank you to my beautiful ladies here. Thank you so much. Let us vote for Liberia. Liberia is our common denominator. I thank you.
Thank you. I will send you our Cash App and Zelle information so you can pay for the UP ad that you just ran. Miss AMA, you're closing.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you, Dennis, and thank you,
Hey,
ladies.
we are a realtor. We will make it. Send it.
Thank you, ladies, for such a wonderful show. Um, Secondly, I want to ask our Liberian people. We all want change, but we have to understand what we're changing from and what we're changing to. Change is very relative. And secondly, I want our Liberian people to understand who you're voting for, why you're voting for that person. The love of land runs very deep, but people don't understand how deep the love of a land runs. The love of a country is first and foremost. The love of a country is before your first family. Because if your country is well, your children and your husband, your wife will be okay. So your love of your country runs very, very deep. What you will not do to your child, you can't do it to your country.
Yeah.
What you will not do to your husband, you can't do to your country. Not because that I'm not satisfied with who was heading the country first, that I would take the country and give it to just anything. Not because I am not the one sitting there that I would just agree for the country to run down. That is selfishness, that is unpatriotic, that is evil to the Liberian children, the unborn Liberian children. So we have to understand that every vote that we are going to vote on November 7th, we got it on our conscience. I know some people pocket overshadow their conscience. I know some people affiliation overshadow their conscience. But deep down, when you go to bed and those votes you're going to make on the 7th, may you be able to live with that vote. And may you proudly speak of who you voted for. So I'm asking my Liberian people, not because the babysitter they didn't look after my child, And I will take my child and give it to a street girl on the side of the road. We all understand the incompetence that's been going on. We all understand and know that there's huge incompetence going on. When we speak of people like Joel Howard Taylor, we have the right to speak because they are in power. If she was sitting selling grumpy down the road, I wouldn't care what she said.
Exactly.
But because she's to a position that has that can be weaponized against me, against my country, against my people, I will speak. So I'm asking you, Liberian people, to go out in numbers on the 7th of November and vote from your conscience. That's all I wanted to say. Peace, Liberian.
Thank you very much to all of you for spending your Sunday night with us. We want to thank our viewers for also watching, even those who will watch later. Always focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Till then, we close with our song that says, "We are all Liberians." Whether you vote for Buakai or we are all Liberians. What is incumbent upon all of us is to do our very best to make our country the glorious land of liberty. Have a good night and God bless you.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home.